Welcome. I'm your host, Christina Haskin, and I'm delighted tonight to have a very well-known, famous chef and chocolatier and owner of Chocolatology in South Norwalk, and has his own line of chocolates.
We must know what we are eating, right? And you know, it's funny, you know, I teach a lot of classes, and I feel that in every class, there's at least one person say, ooh, chocolate is so fattening. And I can't help, you know, to interrupt and say, well, it certainly depends. You know, what's really important is that we, one, know where the food we're eating, where it comes from. What is it we're eating? And then also stay away from food with preservatives, additives, chemicals, wax, artificial flavors.
I've had, it tastes like there's some chemicals in it,
Certainly.
or they're trying to do a fake flavor.
And I think that carries over to food in general. That it's we need to eat food without these things. You know, we don't know how our body reacts to these things, and these are the fats that we can't burn. The wax, the artificial fats. That's what you can't burn. I mean, eating real butter. I remember my grandparents always told me, eat more butter, it's good for you. Well, it is a natural fat you burn just by getting out of bed. Go for a walk. You burn natural fats. It's all the other junk that we can't burn.
When you mentioned your grandparents, I'm going to try and guess for a minute. How did they influence you? I've read somewhere that they were important to you.
Very much so. My grandfather was he was the first food distributor in Denmark. He started his company right after the Second World War, and he was a really tough cookie. He was amazing. They were both just amazing grandparents, loving, and you know, he had sold out. He sold his company when I was a kid. So he would pick me up from school, and we would play a game. He actually had his home office in our house. I think just because he didn't want to spend too much time at home with my grandmother.
So were you influenced about the business side of yourself?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And I think he was just very driven, and a really just smart guy, but more importantly, he was always, if I helped him, you know, obviously, yeah, I would get, you know, $1 or whatever it was back then, but he was tough, you know. For him to give me that $1, I really had to work for it, and I loved that, and he wasn't afraid to take $1 away either. I remember one time I had to broom some leaves under my grandmother's car, and she left, and the leaves like flew everywhere. I just remember him. He walked over. He had a big hand because he came from, you know, he was a farmer, his family was, in my pocket, and took back his, whatever it was, 10 kroners, and was disappointed, you know. The worst thing, like your parents and grandparents can be right disappointed. It's the worst word. So no, they were, and then also travels. Both my grandparents and parents loved to travel. My parents lived in Vancouver before they had us kids. And my mother's brother lived actually in the States most of his life, so our grandparents came a lot here. But for them it was very important to show us the world, for us to understand different cultures, history. My dad is an architect, so every time we were traveling we had to see at least every single church in every single town.
That's where you get your design sense for the chocolates.
My dad's side are actually all artisans, yeah. My mom's side is all business, so it's quite interesting.
So you have the mixture of both.
Yep.
What do you enjoy most about all of this stuff, of the cooking or the designing or the you know, managing your business?
I think elements of it all. The craziness, you know, every day is a new day. Every day is exciting. There's so many things happening all the time, and but no, I'm a creative person. So if I had to pick one out of 10 things, I think the creativity of a thought and bringing it to market.
To fruition, yeah. And how about your TV experiences where you were a contestant on Chopped, whatever? How was that to compete with other people and be on, you know?
I'm very competitive. I always been competitive. I love sports. I hate to lose. So as you can imagine, now you brought up Chopped. That was a tough one, but we can certainly talk about other ones. We can talk about.
Oh yeah, the one. Didn't you win one of them?
Yes, I won a single one. No, I won against probably Flame the Throwdown. Yeah.
Yeah. But
and then I did a lot of Food Network
Would
challenges.
you ever think of doing your own show?
I would love to do my own show.
Yeah.
But I would want it to be more of an educational show. I think, you know, in today's world, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of shows have become a lot of drama.
Yeah, they set it up to make it silly
exactly.
things. Yeah,
I'm not into these shows.
Right.
I'd much rather see a show that's educational.
Right.
And,
now, do you want to, I mean, teaching people to make chocolate at home, is that against your business? Or I mean, it's,
really
anyway, it's fun to try.
Occasional to do a show about chocolate, but go a little deeper. Let's go to the plantations, because, you know, we're talking about chocolate, but most people, for good reasons, don't really know, you know, how chocolate is being made and the difference of plantations and geographically where they are. And I think it would be a really, really wonderful show to do, travel to different plantations, eating chocolate, talking about the beans, the weather.
Right. But that would be great. And how about a book? I mean, there's a lot of chocolate books.
We are coming out with a book.
Oh, great.
October.
Uh-huh. And it's recipes or
it's a lot of recipes. It's I think there'll be 88 recipes and around 50 pictures. Wiley, W-I-L-E-Y.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we are very busy nailing down all the recipes, and in 6 weeks we're going to start doing all the photography. It's a lot of work coming out with a book.
You've got a lot of different fires going. That's great. It's exciting. I guess the show is something that have you entertained that at all or not? You know, just seeing.
I have, but I think it's finding the right partner as well. Somebody that you know, kind of like Antonio Bourdain. I love his shows because you're traveling. You feel like you are there and you're tasting food and you can really smell it and you'll taste it. I love these kind of shows.
There's a lot of the wonderful on Create Channel, the Scandinavian shows where they're cooking outside and they're in, you know, kind of exploring the Norway or whatever, you know, in the background. So yeah, that would be really fun. Yeah,
it would. Yeah. So if you have any contacts, that would be lovely.
And also, you were mentioning before about you're doing a new line of you have the high-end, more sophisticated, expensive chocolates, and tell us about what the other thing you're going to do.
Well, when I first started out, I guess 14, 15 years ago, it was the KNIPSCHILDT line, the super premium line. And then a couple of years ago, no, not even a year ago, we launched our new Chocopology line, which is awesome as well. A little bit more modern, fun packaging. And we are just about to relaunch KNIPSCHILDT. We have found some different ingredients and even more rare chocolates. So the KNIPSCHILDT brand will be relaunched. It will be still very exclusive. It's actually going to be more expensive and exclusive. Same beautiful handmade boxes from Nepal. The flavors will be influenced a bit more from my heritage in Scandinavia, and very much focus on local as well. So local honey.
What is an inexperienced chocolate eater or connoisseur? What is the thing that the experience of having a chocolate in your mouth, and can you describe when it's really good? What's the difference between something that's sort of blah chocolate?
I think it's a process of learning. I think it's buying different chocolate bars. A great suggestion would be go to your local store, buy different chocolate bars, and try them. Try a piece of each. See what your palate, you know, is like. What you enjoy the most. Maybe you like a more fruity chocolate, rainforest, compared to dry chocolate. It's such a personal preference.
Good night. See you next time.